Okay, so this is for public health, inside the Public Health and Social Services Fund. They're asking for $812,000 in grant revenue and $64,000 in expenses. This is tied to FTE for the Nurse Family Partnership. This is for their, the contract has increased, and so they're asking for funding to fund those FTE.
But it's money coming in to make the funds work. I mean,
Yeah,
the
but
funds-
again, there's a huge variance here between the amount of the grant money and the amount of the
Right.
FTEs.
So the notes here by the department say no additional expenditure authority is requested at this time. It says besides the new program manager at 0.5, a half an FTE and a half an FTE related to their other foundational public health request.
So this comes with an FTE.
But it's a heck of an expensive one. That's 2 medical examiners.
No, that's 660,
It's
no,
just $64,000.
65,000 for the FTE.
Well-
And the 812 is the grant. Is this just ongoing grant funding that should have been adjusted at maintenance level?
They are doing an adjustment. The request is adjusting the budget from the object line, blah, 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 and increasing the budget in a different object line within revenue as a technical correction, as DCYF had a separate BARS object code from DSHS. So part of it, the revenue is a technical correction because they have to shift it to something. It's not increased revenue except for the 60, to cover the 64,000.
So
Well, what
really,
about the
this
other?
813 should be 64.
The new amount, the 64 would cover the FT, the half FTEs.
Where's the other 750,000 going?
Yeah, that's,
That's expenditures that they already have booked, but the revenue needs
so
to be
that's the
adjusted.
grant that they should have done at maintenance level, ongoing grant funding.
That part of it probably, yes.
Yeah.
It should be been split into two.
Okay.
So will this be corrected or?
Technically it's correct. It's 64,000 new money and the remainder is
Roughly
ongoing grant
750.
revenue that supports current positions, if I'm hearing you correctly. And we will go in and scrub the budget and make sure it's not double counted.
You know, that happened one time over in Department of Health a couple years ago.
Yeah, I know. We're-
And you're making me- you're
We
scaring me.
pay careful attention to public health.
And then the language also speaks about 1.5 FTE that were requested in 2022 that are also used against this funding. So those positions do already live within our budget. And so they're asking to increase the FTE, so from a half to a full FTE.
Oh. We're gonna look into this one and get back to you on that.
And it says we're gonna
This
go up
is not-
20% for 2024.
Yeah.
Revenue.
So we're gonna get back on this because that is starting to not make sense. All right,
Okay, so
okay, you see that Auditor Hall has joined us?
Only because I can't hear what's being said on YouTube.
The
Oh,
Sorry
that
about the
stupid
streaming.
thing.
Yeah, I've gotten,
I was hoping there was a Teams option that maybe I could hop on. but-
There's a Zoom link and Anna, can we send that to Auditor Hall?
Okay, perfect,
If-
thank you very much.
If that will work better. You can
I
sit
can
here and join us,
We
but.
like to have you, but
I'd rather multitask, to be
yeah, we
honest.
get it.
Thank you.
So I'm skipping over Healthy Lakes because we need to follow up on that.
We're gonna skip Healthy Lakes for now?
We're gonna skip Healthy Lakes, the conversation, the follow-up I have is, what is the total cost of the indirects for the lake management districts?
Oh, right,
And is this an increase? We have
Yeah,
not,
we're-
since yesterday, had a chance to follow up on that.
you gotta get back.
Okay, so then,
So we're keeping that out too, huh?
yes,
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that.
so let's jump to capital, that's what I have next,
regular capital.
policy level capital.
Is this one we can go to the bottom line on?
There's just one we need to focus on, and then we can go to bottom line. It's because there's $130,000 sitting in general fund related to the pickleball court in Rainier. So those are the first 3 lines. And right now we have we have general fund for $130,000 because there is already $300,000 that is associated with this project using park impact fees. So the additional $130,000 to complete this project is needed to come from a different funding source.
It's REIT, right?
And yes, we recommend REIT
We
two
are
outside
recommending
of.
REIT two.
Yep, okay. Got it.
So do I have approval for REIT two funding for the additional?
I don't know why this always says general fund, always makes me nervous.
Because they asked for it from general fund and we're suggesting you not pay it from general
Oh, so
fund.
that's gonna,
We're
that's it.
suggesting that we change it to REIT two, and we're hearing a yes
Okay, REIT, got
for
it.
REIT two, which would be a yes to the first three lines.
First three lines.
Thumbs up on this?
Yeah.
1, 2, you good with that, Commissioner Edwards?
Yeah.
All right, great.
And then we need one more for the entire packet, so it lines with our CIP lines up with this, creating the capital budget. And so we looked at the CIP number of times with all the projects that are in there, so we need a thumbs up on the actual entire packet.
So
That's
are you
for
comfortable
4.
doing that? We're asking that you now approve the entire packet because you have seen every one of these proposals
Okay.
as part of the capital improvement plan on at least 2 occasions.
Okay,
If you would prefer, we can go line by line through this
and
packet.
that's the
but,
7 million?
that would be the entire page.
So 4 and 5,
20.
but 7 million
We're
and,
asking you to say yes to page 27. That would be all of those. If you're comfortable in total, if you want, we can go through them one by one.
let me see here.
Why don't we give you a quick moment to, I see Commissioner Mejia's just paging through them real fast.
I have a question. Some of these projects I see that are REIT funded, right? And do these comply with the kind of the plan that has been put forward in an effort to kind of take away the costs, the impact on the REIT fund?
Yes.
So this matches up with the plan.
Yes, we've matched the REIT to financial plan, you're saying no.
I'm saying they had adjustments in the financial plan that they showed yesterday where they were,
So we would need to say no to some of these items to align it with the plan?
I
Do
think,
you know which ones?
so I would suggest so we will have a changes and error sheet on to come, and on there is the proposal, for instance, the reduction in the trail program to be able to not do funding in 2024 because we would have carry forward. That is not reflected in here. That is on the financial plans that we have been reviewing.
So would we have the board saying yes to something in here and then taking it away later in the week?
Making adjustments to it, yes. To find those lines within 27 pages is at this point. So if we approve this packet and then have those adjustments to those specific projects.
But if we did them one by one, we'd find them as we saw.
I'm asking Karen what the changes were to balance the fund.
I have them here in my notes. So to continue the trail program in 2024, they would like to reduce $1 million in 2024 and then they would do $250,000 in park impact fees. In 2025, they'd like to drop $500,000 in REIT two and then be able to split that between REIT and parks, and between REIT two and parks. So they would have park impact fees and REIT funding for a total of $750,000 in 2025, in which $500,000 would be REIT and $250,000 would be park impact fees.
So maybe the way we could approach this packet at this time would be to say yes to any fund that is not REIT two. And we could come back to REIT two.
Okay, well, here, I got some other questions though, I want.
All right, then we need to go through this packet one line by line.
So then I would say then we would hold off on this one then until we get all of the information from from Public Works, because this also impacts, the culvert, Country Club culvert, where they're asking not to be able to pay back the, loan right now, but to be able to, between roads fund and construction fund, because we wanna be able to free up the revenue
Right.
inside of the roads fund.
We know that,
But to have what they would decide on, I think that we should have that
but
information for
we know
forward.
the information to give to the board, so there's no reason to delay.
Okay, if you'd like to go forward then.
I think that we could,
Okay, there's a couple things we don't know yet. We don't know we haven't heard back how much road improvement they were intending on doing, buying everything associated with oil.
did we get an answer on that?
We did not get an answer on that one. They were, working on it. Karen
And I
had
see
asked
that
Matt to.
there's quite a bit of stuff here that's could be affected by that, and part of it is diversion out of REIT two to do some of those projects. Which I question if that, okay, like here on, item 66 in this particular packet that we're looking at, real estate excise tax second quarter of $1 million, and that is, looks like it's gonna be for 25. I just don't know what it's all about, but getting back to my original argument of how we're gonna treat what kind of shift amount we take out of there depends on what they had in mind in that question that I asked earlier, because we're only gonna get about, I don't know, I'm gonna say 40% of the completed product that we would have got, say, 2 years ago when the prices were different. And they will go, it's dependent on oil price, and when that goes back down, then we get that full amount. So I'm saying divert the money now to help us in this whole other area of general fund, which is legal. Not divert, shift, wrong term, shift. So if we shift, it's a legal move to delay paving the road, because we're not hardly getting any paving done for the same dollar amount. So we might as well spend it on the general fund where it's legal. It used to be done that way. Back in about, I think they started changing it around 2009 or something. Somewhere in there, they were taking money out of that fund in the shift process.
Out of which
Road-
fund?
Out of the road fund.
We've been taking
No,
diversion.
we do diversion, but we quit doing shift somewhere along the line there.
This
Incrementally
county-
going down on the shift.
Okay, so I was not here in 2009, so I can't comment on what was happening prior to my tenure.
Well, weren't they doing still some shift for a few years up until about,
No, they were doing
12?
road diversion. It was my understanding that this county had always done road diversion.
no, only
And-
since 1987, cause I was the one
Well,
that
there you go.
instigated that.
And that prior to that, there had not been I have no idea what was happening prior to 1987.
Well, no, it is a legal expenditure that counties do use, and we were using it at one point in time as well. Having to
Okay.
do with that, we're at we were at $1.88, now we're at 88 or some damn.
Right,
So we can do it legally.
that's the levy shift. And we've been doing the levy shift. So
Okay, tell me to what extent
how much are we doing in levy shift?
in the
This
past?
year, we're doing $2,250,000.
How much shift, okay, I'm talking,
Diversion,
aren't you talking diversion, and I'm talking shift?
in the levy shift, we are currently shifting $2,250,000.
How much
Stepping
did,
that down every year.
huh?
We've been stepping that down every year.
We have been stepping the levy shift down every year. In diversion, we used to do about
4 million, but
4
now we're
million
down
in
about
diversion,
2.
now we do 1.5 million in
And
diversion.
that we have to justify with accounting.
Crap,
With
yes,
the crap.
with crap.
So shift, let's see, okay, so they've been working our way down on shifting.
Correct.
I'm saying we don't need to keep that up, same as the,
We already agreed to go up a million, but I'm curious, I mean, right?
Yeah.
We've already kind of, well, pre-agreed
Right.
into the model. So I guess my question is, sounds like you wanna go further than that, and I'm curious how much further you wanna go.
well, that's because I don't know how much they're gonna spend on oil product to do pavement upgrades.
So you'll come back to us with that.
Well, I'm waiting.
They're working on an answer and they hope to have it
I'm
to us
waiting
by
on
tomorrow.
a report, that's the thing I asked for yesterday, to be able to look at that.
So then, okay, so then maybe let's hold off on the policy level capital.
Let's hold off on this
And then-
package
and then
because
maybe
it
we
sounds
can
like
get
a lot
the-
swirling around.
Yeah, and my questions relate to like the REIT and just the changes that the proposed changes that we've seen and if they match up with what's in here.
Right.
Because there are several projects that are REIT funded through here and
Yes,
just,
there are.
so just making
Okay.
sure.
So we'll come back to capital policy another day.
Okay, so then the next is the commissioner brainstorm.
Which one are we going to now?
The brainstorm.
Brainstorm.
This is where I can get my sheet.
I'd like to leave this one until later because these are commissioner priorities.
Okay.
And we should see where we're at before we look at these. So I'm gonna
Makes
ask to
sense.
skip this one.
I thought all the priorities were depending on if we won the lottery.
Well, we got 2 more days to do that. Go buy a ticket.
TST two, because I'd like to follow up on that.
So, now we're to treatment sales tax?
No,
We're gonna swoop over that one. We're gonna go right to policy level Indy.
Wait, this is all,
End date, policy level, that's where we're at now?
Yes.
It's out of order. This,
We'll come back to TST. I have some follow-up to do for you.
okay, so I can put it up here?
Yes,
TST can come up here?
as follow-up.
I hope you remember what your organizational scheme is over there.
highly sophisticated system.
I've never made a claim that I'm organized. A lot of my success has had to do with luck.
So line 1 here is through the auditor. She's asking to extend the historic preservation FTE that's working on that project. It's through auditor's M&O fund.
Okay, this is coming out of her, that maintenance
Yes,
fund,
his-
it's not
his
general fund.
historical
Can't
document
spend it
fund.
for other things anyway.
That's correct.
Got it,
And
okay.
how does this connect? Doesn't the clerk have something to do with this?
That's the next one.
Yes, the clerk
Okay,
also
never
has
mind. We're gonna get
positions
there.
toward this fund. Later, when you consider reductions, we can talk about that.
That's the position that
But
the clerk
yes,
has.
to the
that's
auditor
an
to
an auditor in
extend
the
these
clerk's
funds.
office.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, yes, good.
Okay, so the next line then is that extension of the clerk position using the auditor's M&O fund as well.
I think this one we'll have to discuss during the cuts
You're gonna have to wait.
because the auditor was very specific that she doesn't have the capacity to fund this position and also be able to, you know,
Shift her costs.
shift her costs from the cuts. So she's reliant on this funding to be able to shift some costs, so,
The auditor is, which
Yeah.
could squeeze the clerk's piece out.
yeah.
Good,
So she, you know,
yes.
we remember that conversation. She was supportive before there was conversation of cuts, but now that there are cuts, the auditor said she needed this additional capacity in order to.
So we'll return to this one.
So this one we're gonna return
lines
to.
2 and 3.
Right, that's lines 2 and 3.
So 1, 2, and 3 we're returning?
One is a yes. 2 and 3
Oh,
are,
okay.
we'll come back to them.
Yes. So line 4 is for the prosecuting attorney is asking to extend positions that are in ARPA, so associated with the court backlog. And then also to add a position.
So Nicole and I have a proposal for ARPA. And she's gonna bring it up. And this is the ARPA conversation.
Okay, are we gonna have all the ARPA conversation requests that have been requested besides the prosecutors? Because public defense is also asking for that, and
to have their,
Yeah.
yep, the backlog position. So we're gonna talk to you about the backlog positions and one other idea. So I think, where'd the,
1 second. We'll try it again.
that was the,
Here we go.
not the right one?
Is it coming up?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the worksheet. We could print it out for you. We didn't have it printed for you today. But we think
go
that
back to page
you
one
can
first.
take $3.9 million out of items that are earmarked or available. And take 2 million of that and do an additional year. You may recall that we're doing a FTE, if for any FTE created after March 3rd of 2021.
I remember.
Yep, we can pay for it with ARPA, any position in the county. So we've done that. In 2022, we were able to do 2.2 million. In 23, we think we'll be able to do 2.5 million. In 24, we did not plan on doing that, but I'm suggesting that you could take $2 million and shift ARPA into the general fund to the tune of $2 million that we hadn't planned on doing before. To remember that mystery 2 million I had on the model, this is where it can come from. That would leave 1.9 million that we could do at least one more year of backlog payments out of ARPA for the prosecutor and public defense. That would give time for the public safety tax to get rolling, and we could see exactly how much money we really would have and start shifting those positions over in 2026 to the new tax. So that's a plan, and here's where the money would come from. I need one of those laser pointer things. So
Next page, right?
we would leave the 600,000 for Quinn Street. We would leave that there, and it would be dedicated to Quinn Street. We would take, let's see,
I
is
gotta go
this
to the next-
page one?
Yeah, next page. Ready?
There's nothing on page one that we would take. On page two, see this 500,000 for ag support? They're still not spending the first $500,000 they have, so I would propose taking the second $500,000 and redirecting it to these other purposes. This 200,000 for diversion services, and this was money that you granted to the prosecutor's office. They were gonna do a contract, I think with Friendship, in part to decrease the backlog. That's never gotten underway.
So 200?
Yep, and I think that we would just
Can
say,
you print this sheet and that other sheet that was just up there, so we've got something we can.
we'll print it out. So I'm suggesting that forget about the contract with Friendship for diversion and instead roll it into their positions.
Have they been given the contract though? and-
No, it's never gotten off the ground.
Okay,
Otherwise I wouldn't be suggesting that.
Okay.
Any of this money that's under contract,
Okay.
I'm not touching.
okay.
So there's that. You've got 1.9 million set aside for broadband. The tribe so far has not been able to commit to the 2 full million that you've already got earmarked. I would recommend leaving that 2 million, but take the 1.9. There's a lot of other broadband money out there.
Yeah, okay.
So take that, and
You got a running total on that?
Oh,
there's,
It'd be nice if we had the print so we could.
yep, we'll make sure to print it. 697,000 that is sitting Under consideration for administration, I'd say that we take all of that. Because I think that there's enough capacity in the 1.1 million that you've already authorized. And really the only admin costs left that we have to pay for is indirect for the fund and Diana Aaron's position through the end of 26, and the position in financial services through the end of 24. So if we continue to fund that, that's enough, you take that, and then you've got 640 that's not committed to anything yet, take that. This totally spends your ARPA money, it's gone now.
Yeah, but what did you just add up to, about
That's a lot.
3.9 million.
Yeah, 4 million, I was gonna say.
3.9 million.
Okay.
3.972.
So take 2 million of that, shift it to the general fund under this pay for positions loophole, and then take the remaining 1.9 million, and that'll fund one more year of the court backlog.
So that would fund court backlog through 25?
Yeah. Through, not 26, but it'd fund them through 25.
Because we had we had a big chunk for court backlog, and was that only through 24, or is
Yes.
that a different, is it all
No,
gone, or?
it will be gone by the end of 24.
So
They
we're,
are now spending it,
okay, and now we're trying to extend that basically.
Yes.
According to what the prosecutor has asked us for and
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 Patrick,
public defense.
yes.
So then we would be out of ARPA.
Yes, we are now out of ARPA if you agree to that. And we're still gonna look at ARPA midway through next year to see if there are any places in here that you've authorized that aren't spending their money,
Yeah,
that need to be redirected. But essentially, we have earmarked all of ARPA.
we've got the money we need for all those. I mean, how murky or variable are all those utility projects that we're doing there?
We're
Hamish?
pretty confident that those are moving forward,
And we've got the funding there.
yes.
Okay, they're not gonna double or triple on us, and we're gonna get in a situation like we got in with the auditors project.
True, yes. Here's what this doesn't cover. It's the district court,
Scram project.
yeah, Scram. It does not cover that. How much did they want for Scram?
500.
Yeah, I think that's
$500,000 for one more year? So there's not enough to squeeze out for that.
But it would help, this $2 million shift to the general fund, this would help us so much
To reduce
to
that.
reduce that gap. And if we were to shift an additional 2 million from the rainy day fund, that would just at least put us in a,
So then we'd still be short out of the 7 million, we'd be down to 3 or something?
You'd be down to 4.
Down to 4?
Yep, if you do this and you increase the road levy shift to, you've already tentatively agreed on 1 million, if you raise that to 2 million, it brings the cut down to 4 million. So you're starting to close the gap. Here's the bad thing about this proposal. This is the 2 million shift from ARPA into the general fund, it's a one-time thing.
One-time money.
If you move it out of the rainy day fund into the general fund, it's a one-time thing.
I know.
You are, it's something you really shouldn't be doing. But it gets you, it buys time. It's buying time to.
What did we ever do with this $2 million on the child?
That 2 million is, did we sign the contract yet?
Yes, we signed the contract with
We just signed the
EDC.
contract to start getting it out the door. We ought to see expenditures
And that's
begin,
with the EDC?
yes.
Maybe we can do some, I feel like that's what you're doing, like a checkup next year to see
Exactly, if they're spending it.
if they're spending it. It kind of hurts for the Scram project, right? But at the same time, understanding that this is one-time funding, but if it helps just address that gap a little bit, it leaves absolutely zero padding for anything else.
That's right.
But we still need to make a 4% cut.
$4 million.
$4 million.
$4 million.
Well, but
It's
isn't that
not,
about,
it's not necessary, I am not assigning a percentage to it.
okay, so how do we do that? Just take it out of the different budgets and
So
not,
you
and
have
recognize that
some-
certain ones bring money in. So reduce that revenue from their budget and then look at us, I don't know if you assign a number or
We
what.
asked for proposals that do not impact budget or revenue. So did we get those? We'd have
Some
to
we
look
did
at
and
each
some we
one.
didn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
And from some, we didn't get anything. So,
So that's where
there's-
we give them a 4% cut.
well, we'll get to that part, but this helps to close the gap.
Well, Robin, I'm in favor of the proposal that you have set forth, the $2 million shift to general fund, and then the leftover 1.9 million for, and that would cover, who would that $1.9 million cover for that backlog?
For the prosecutor and public defense. And we have very preliminary numbers from Diana on exactly what that is.
Would it also cover, I mean, doesn't Superior Court have like a jury administrator that they are using in the second location?
Well, what we asked Diana to estimate is carrying forward all of the backlog positions through the next 2 years. So I would hope that it included anything not only for public defense and the prosecutor's office, but the courts, and we also have a couple of corrections security
Okay.
staff.
Let me ask something about that. So if we're at, if we're to 4 million, that we need to cut 4 million. You're saying we need to cut 4 million considering that we're gonna do some adds to the baseline budget,
Yes.
which I don't know that I'm in favor of doing those ads. If we did not do the ads, then what are we down to? About 1 million?
That's why I'm suggesting we don't talk about the cuts right now. The model's not ready to go. We're walking through these and saying, what are you gonna say yes to? I'll load those into the model. So far, nothing you've said yes to impacts the general fund to a great extent. And we can,
Did you rate it? I thought it didn't impact.
May I address Commissioner Mejia's question?
sure,
Go ahead.
Oh, this is Diana. You asked which positions this covers. So this covers a projection of 2024, including all of the positions which are covered in 2023. However, for 25, it includes the prosecuting attorney's office FTE, the public defense FTE, and also the 2 new prosecutor investigators.
So prosecutor FTEs.
thank you. Then we need the full number, Diana. We need to know what, with all the positions carried forward, not just those ones.
Okay, do you want the clerk's office position included also?
Yes, if there's a position for the clerk, please include
I
it.
think Superior
Everything
Court.
that we'd agreed to cover under the backlog.
And I mean, if it's gonna be more than the 1.9 million, then I feel like then that's a decision point at the board where we're gonna be like, we're only gonna fund these positions because this is the only ARPA money we have left.
Right. Well, then we look at the ones that are filled.
So,
Because if the prosecutor or the clerk are doing backlog right now, and have some of those positions not filled, then I would recommend that those would not be the ones to roll forward.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm in favor of the investigators for the prosecuting attorney. That's 2 FTEs, cause we can't afford it for sure if the budget thing, if the law enforcement tax doesn't pass. And if the law enforcement tax does pass, the sheriff's office is gonna have plenty of adequate investigators. The way law enforcement has always been, and now it's getting away from that, and that's detrimental, and I'll explain that. I actually wasn't gonna go here. And I've talked to John about this today. The problem is, when you create a whole new investigative division in the prosecutor's office, you end up with a them and us situation that starts to develop, and you've got a separate law enforcement entity in each jurisdiction that does not give full law enforcement benefit to the community. And when I say benefit to the community, if John's got a murder case going on and his folks decide, hey, we need this, we need so-and-so located, we need this statement taken from this person, whatever that piece of evidentiary process is, the prosecutor in the days gone by always called the referring agency, whether that was a municipality or the county, didn't state patrol, didn't matter, and said, if you want your case to come out the way you've submitted it to me, you better get your guy out there and find so-and-so and get a statement about this, cause I need it at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then that agency got on the stick and went out and got whatever John needed. In today's day and age, the county doesn't have the personnel to provide that service adequately. That's what John's looking to fill that gap. But there's no reason that the municipalities have not been able to do that. But I think just it started to slide a few years ago. I watched this happen. And then you get that division. The other aspect that you get a full use of a law enforcement officer, if it's somebody out of the sheriff's office, is when you go out to contact so-and-so or do whatever follow-up is being requested, you get there and when you contact so-and-so, they got a whole table full of machine guns and dope. And you take that action that needs to be taken. A regular investigator from the prosecutor's office has very limited scope of whatever he's doing, gets what he needs, goes, so you lose out on that. And it is counterproductive to put 2 investigators in John's office. Now, I kind of feel bad saying that, cause I told John I didn't bring it up earlier when we were talking about this. Just because I didn't wanna confuse things for the tax issue that's coming up. But in this case, I have to explain to my seatmates the why. So
you're saying that if
Okay.
public safety tax passes, then sheriff will have the capacity
To
to
do
do what he
this.
should be doing, quote
Anyway.
unquote, if he had the
Yep.
resources. And if the public safety tax doesn't pass,
then we can't do it anyway. Any way around.
because we can't afford to do it.
Can't afford it. So we'll just have to continue on this slope downhill, this status quo of things are just keeping, they'll, pretty soon they prioritize to where the only trials that you'll see is armed robbery, rape, murder, that's about it.
So this is my thing, why don't we get the positions that we approved already, right? Through COVID and kind of do that breakdown, see where we land on the 1.9 million, and then other requests, and maybe we can do the scram request there and we can weigh out like what we, maybe it's not investigators, but maybe it is this, we have capacity for scram in this.
So my question is for Nicole.
Yes.
Are the 2 investigators that Diana included in this estimate already approved positions, or those requests in the 24 budget?
Request in the 24 budget. The
Then they
investi-
should not have been included in
So
her estimate. So let's
one is included and one is new.
let's
No, I
take
think that's in
those
public defense.
out, and I would absolutely agree with Commissioner Mejia to the extent that we'll fund current positions was the request. And
So
so,
can I ask Diana? Diana, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So I'm looking at your spreadsheet here with the forecast for the two new investigators you have, these were based off the change request?
Sure, yes, the lines highlighted in yellow are the change request items. And so, I'm sorry,
So then, yes, so there are two new positions, and we have those included.
So we
in-
would take those off.
We can take those off the table.
Yeah.
Those are not extensions.
Exactly, that should not have been in that
Well,
estimate.
because line 4 here that we're looking at, the prosecutor put that together where he has extend/add. So it's built in as one,
So,
so we can take that out.
So we need to reform that one.
yeah, so we'll redo, and it may be that 1.9 million can cover other things.
Yeah, so
Like the
right
Scram
now,
project.
Like, maybe there'll be enough for scram. We'll figure
Well,
it out.
Scram, doesn't that alleviate jail
With the jail, yeah.
Yeah.
So that in the end helps us as well.
Yes.
So where the other just puts more people,
Right.
which I hate to say that to you.
No, I'm with you, Commissioner.
Going back to line 4 of the worksheet that we're working on. And we'll spend time looking at those things outside of the room, trying to draw your attention back to the.
so we're just,
We're on page
we're just
3,
clarifying, so yeah, we can look into the numbers, but we're looking at the information, so even though this says add, this $780,000 is just an extension. They have another change request where they're asking for 2 FTE.
We'll
to
figure out
investigators,
how
so we can
much
get that
of line
information to you.
4. So my recommendation to the board is to approve the extension of current positions being paid in the ARPA backlog to be paid by ARPA through 2025 for the prosecutor, public defense, the court, the clerk
Through 2025,
in 2025.
because that's the biennium.
I wanna see a
Because-
list of all those positions, if that's okay,
We
just,
will absolutely get you a list of those.
You wanted a list of positions, is that what it
Yeah.
is?
All right, so we'll come back to this with a
Yeah, we need to just
a more
drill down
well
little
laid
bit.
out.
Okay.
So can I ask, as a follow-up to this one, would there be an additional change request, cause it's not in there yet, for the public
That's
defenders?
technical, we can do that. Don't worry about the behind the scenes right now. We'll get a change request from them,
Okay,
so we'll have to move a bunch of stuff around.
So line 5?
Yep.
Okay, so this is to remove the end date for 2 positions that were created for the ERP implementation. These 2 positions are in the commissioner's office, and they're on the budget team, one's on the budget team, and the other one is in IT. These positions will help with implementing Oracle, but also the nature of Oracle and other systems that we're also putting on board, that these positions will need to be carried going forward. And so we're asking for the end date to be removed. They are not general fund positions.
And that continues the baseline of that particular line item.
Yes,
It enhances the baseline.
Right.
we need these, yeah.
And there's funding, part of them come out of that 60-40 split, doesn't it?
Some of them will be on a rate,
A 60-40 rate,
Yep.
right? And the other will be IT.
yep.
So about, I don't know, I can't,
In the long run,
can't pull it.
approximately half of it would go to the general fund once it's added to the rates, which
Yeah.
would start in either 25 or 26.
because of the baseline increase.
Yeah,
And what's the end date right now?
the end date is the end of this year,
End of this
and
year.
we don't have the system up this year. We've got to
Can we
have this
extend
at
this end
least
date?
through the end of next year.
Can we do that and
It's
not?
part of the project. We could, yes, we could do that,
Would that solve the problem?
no,
We would come back and ask. for
not
it
in
to
the
be
long
removed
run.
again.
We'll
Well,
be
yeah,
here
but I
next
mean, will
year.
it get us through to get it hooked up and get everything running?
We hope so.
Well, it's better than,
We hope so, but here's why my answer is no, it won't solve a problem. Once we implement Oracle, and we're implementing other systems, one of these positions is to support the commissioner's office, all of the tech in the commissioner's office. So we have the new budget piece of Oracle. We've also got Balancing Act, OpenGov, the new Granicus system. We've got, I know that there's another major one that we've got in the commissioner's office. All of those systems need ongoing support. And
and we're not getting that
then
from
in-
IT now?
No, we're getting
no, no, we're getting it, a lot of it from Jennifer. And she's got
don't
other
wanna
things
do
to
it.
do. And in the second position is would be in IT, because once we implement Oracle, Oracle has regular updates, quarterly updates that you can't say no to. So we're having to do ongoing testing and maintenance of the new system on a regular basis. That when we talk about acknowledging the ongoing M&O and pressures on staff that go with major projects, this is what it is. So both of these positions would be in the IT department. The one to support the commissioner's office is embedded, and the other would be supporting countywide on Oracle.
And what's the general fund impact?
Approximately $100,000, 120, starting in either 25 or 26.
Right, cause it'd be billed out
That
with the
we would
rates.
go through the rates.
It'd be billed out at the rate. Cause right now it's a direct to the IT fund, but then when we update the rates that build the next,
Right.
then you would see the impact to the general fund.
Can this be picked up by that ARPA fund?
Nope.
But it doesn't have a general fund impact until, or is it the opposite? It's general fund and then it's split
No,
between the rates, or
it's the opposite. It's IT fund in 24, 100%. And
for
then
both positions?
for both positions, and then in starting in 25 or 6, depending on when we update the rates, the split would be part of the rates.
So no impact on the, in 24, for sure.
Correct.
But this again is adding to the baseline.
These are
Instead of
positions
keeping
that you
baseline
don't currently
flat.
have.
Yeah, this is something we don't have, so we're adding to it.
We do have them. We'd be extending them.
They're in right now, so we
Yes,
have these
the-
positions right
the
now in 23.
County, and both of them, well, one of them just became vacant, but we had right up until, one of them is filled and one is
Just-
vacant as of about 2 weeks ago.
So we'll be incurring.
We can't get
Vacancy
Oracle stood up
savings,
without this in 24. At a
Okay,
minimum, we
well, I
need
guess if you
this
can.
through 24.
Okay, so. And if we extend it, what, until 25, we start paying more in 25 or something, I guess.
If you're gonna extend it beyond 24, then I would recommend that you remove the end date.
I wish I knew more about this stuff. So I readily admit
So,
I know nothing.
do you need more information before I
no,
ask
no, I
for
don't-
a thumbs
Well,
up or
I don't
thumbs
think
down?
I'm capable of.
I feel like I wasn't convinced enough with the presentation because I marked a no on it. Or at least, I don't know, maybe I didn't. But, or I just didn't mark it, but,
That's initial, you can always change your mind.
I guess, once the ERP system is implemented, I guess I kind of, can you go a little bit deeper into the support, like why, besides helping with the other systems, but if it's gonna be split, like what support is the county going to receive from those two positions?
Well, I would ask Sherry to explain. She's gonna have a better explanation about why we need the ongoing IT. It's my understanding that Oracle pushes updates out every quarter. So for example, with Munis, we chose when to update the system. We could stay with a current version until we were ready to do an update, and we did major updates every few years. Oracle pushes out an update every quarter. This is part of having a cloud-based system. And when you push out an update, you have to make sure that it doesn't break any of the programming that you've done that customizes the system for you. So we'll have a secondary test system. If Sherry's listening, she's gonna run down here and correct me if I'm wrong.
She won't be able to understand you. The live stream was horrible, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah, but
the
she could
live
be zooming in,
stream's bad.
couldn't she? Can't she be
She's
here?
not, but
Yeah.
and she'll be here
Tomorrow.
Thursday,
Yes.
tomorrow.
Can we just make this a maybe to come back to?
We
Yeah,
can come
maybe.
back to
Well,
this,
just so
yes.
you guys know, I believe both of you guys voted no on this.
I
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
but I mean, if it's a 24 extension and it's not general, I mean, when we can, I know we're kicking the can down the road, but that may be the far as you can get me on this one.
It may be where you land.
So let's do this one as a maybe, and then Sherry
I'm
can
okay with
answer.
you on this.
Yep, she can return.
Okay.
I know in the budget, what we get is support for
that
the
is-
budget team.
It is this one, right? Information tech, that one right there.
I think so.
It's 281,000 and 287,000.
Yep. The next two lines, go ahead, Nicole.
That's a placeholder for the extension of the ERP contract. I think we should come back to that one unless you have something to add.
I feel like that one we have no choice.
Where's this?
Where you at?
ERP.
Line 6 and 7.
We don't know yet how much money it's really gonna cost us. $1 million of this
Yeah, I
is
mean,
a
we've already,
placeholder.
we're in.
So
way
that's
too
the 1,280,000?
You
Yeah.
don't have a choice. So, well, thumbs up, because it's, I mean,
deep. Yeah.
We don't know how much it's gonna actually cost, but yeah.
And we've got money in that tech fund or something, right?
We have money in the debt holding fund to pay for it. We do. So this is,
Okay.
yeah, all right.
Okay,
Was that a thumbs up, three
That's
thumbs
three
up?
thumbs up. All right, so line 8. They're asking this is public health for the environmental health position. They're asking to remove the end date. I'm looking into, it says it's for the end date for our national program grant. It has been extended through most of 2023, and a new ecology grant for the Black Lake started in 2023 and will run for 2 years. So they're asking to remove the end date to be able to support the grants and also the work that's being done there. It says removing end dates helps us to retain and attract qualified staff.
environmental health has had such a
Environmental
hard time recruiting. And if it helps them recruit, if there's grant funding attached to it, and it looks like there's foundational public health services is also involved in this position.
There's grant funding that goes with these?
This is funding that was already received and it's sitting in their budget. This is a long-term grant that they have.
Okay,
So the funding is in their base revenue.
all right.
So we're good?
Okay.
Yes,
Jennifer's giving
yes.
us a, yeah.
3 thumbs up, good job.
This is also from public health. This is sitting in the Public Health and Social Services Fund for community wellness, education, outreach position. They're asking to remove the end date for this position too.
Wasn't this all part of David's presentation, so?
Ready to
Yeah,
vote?
I'm good.
Thumbs up?
Because it's public health money, right? It's dedicated money, can't spend it for roads or anything.
That's right, you can't spend it on anything.
They're saying that when the position was originally created, it was in response to a new grant at the time to the Washington State Health and Care Authority. However, moving forward, they'd like to remove the end date. So a portion of the new allocation will go through foundational public health.
Which line is this?
Line 9. Oh, you're looking on there.
You're talking about, this is on page 4 of 4, right?
3 of 4.
3 of,
That's right here. It's the remove end date community wellness.
It's about halfway through the
And it
last
said
page.
there was 2 yeses, so.
this is,
This is part of their chronic disease prevention team that David spoke about.
Yes, I got one thumbs up.
okay, just a minute, say that, okay, which line are we on there?
Line
9.
nine.
9.
$13,000 coming out
Oh,
of
yeah, okay.
Fund 1500, so I saw 2, 3 thumbs, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's sort of, we were presented with this package of like, here's what we'll do with, you know, this thing, and now
Now
to
it's
pull out this one piece, cause it's an end date removal, I mean, I'm not sure this is the most helpful organization, but something
Okay.
for next year. Like these different conceptual piece, like I just like to go through public health. You know, I don't care if it's a removal and end date or if it's this, like pulling out these strands of like end date removals in all these different departments. It's, my brain is not doing very well with that organization.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go department by department, just for
Okay.
next year.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, I couldn't even, I mean, it's taking me 5 minutes to just figure out what does this connect to that I heard before? It was embedded within,
right here, yeah.
okay. All right,
None of that?
Was that 3 thumbs up?
Number 10.
Okay. Number 10, so we're at another end date, and just speaking to what you were just saying, Commissioner. This is it says, this is a technical correction, it's to remove the end date for administrative 2 workforce retention position. To also reclass existing medical assistant to the community health and nurse supervisor. This is reclassing existing education and outreach specialist to a education and outreach specialist 2. A mental child health education and outreach specialist 2. So these lines are responding to that org chart that David had presented.
How many FTEs are we talking about here? 4? One's going from half to 4.
reclass medical assistant, this is, okay, I remember talking about
That was to do the supervisory line on the community maternal child health community nursing program.
Would it be helpful if I brought up maybe the org chart,
4
see
positions?
if I can find that?
I said yes on, these were different ones, I remember. This is environment, community environment,
Is it all public, is it all foundational public health?
yes.
That's the audit
And these
position
four,
or something.
these things
There's a few
embedded here,
on
were
here
they
for
separate line items on our cheat sheet?
Yeah.
No, they should have been,
Or they were all one
it
thing?
should be 1.
What's it called, you know?
It's priority number 2, adjust previously budgeted, no.
Adjust previously budgeted FPHA's funding,
Oh, yep, and that's it,
230, okay,
in the priority 2 on this little list.
okay.
Let's see, 1 thumb up, 2 thumbs, 3 thumbs up. All right.
This is the front.
Okay, we're gonna come back to this one, not today.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, pay increases.
Pay increases.
Yeah, so this one has a cover sheet to help with the lines.
Before you get there,
Yes.
pay increases, where am I gonna find it?
It should be right behind,
It's gonna look like this.
it has a cover sheet,
It's
it
got
looks
this
a little bit
cover
different,
sheet, looks kind of weird.
How many pages are in there?
17, 18.
Pretty, it's really small print.
17. Yeah,
My
that's why
glasses
there's
this
a
one.
cover sheet here. Ooh,
It's not one of these big ones?
it's more, it has more white on the front than any other one you have. Actually, I think it's on your desk, is that it right there?
Oh, it's up here, we didn't get to this one yesterday,
Oh,
that's
we did
why.
not. Yeah,
Oh, okay, you gotta fill us in on that. Cause that's a different stack.
yes.
Okay. Got it, okay.
So we can go line by line, but I'd like to just show you the first page, the summary. Because the lines, they start transferring money back and forth because they're accounting lines, right? So the change request here are listed, there's 2, 4, 6, 8 different change requests here that are related to pay increases. So the first change request here is for court commissioner salary adjustments to 90%. So it's impacting the general fund by $55,000 in 2024 and also in 2025. So,
Okay, is this part of the ask from district court?
so this is Superior Court's ask,
It's part of the ask from Superior Court,
yes, for their court commissioners.
We all said no.
but
We're looking at the policy pay increases.
Yes,
We're going to have Maria come on what day?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. And one of the things we asked her to be prepared to comment on is how these requests align with the comp class study.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we
Commissioners
think that,
align with the class and comp study.
so
This
we're
is to
gonna
go
put
from-
this aside for a while, or what?
I would suggest that we take this one up after we meet with Maria.
This goes from 85 to 90, is that the idea? Or it's just, that-
85 to 90, yeah. The court
or
commissioner.
they're already at 90 and it's just that the
Yeah, but-
salary commission went up?
No, they're not attached to the salary commission. We are the ones who set up
Okay.
for the court commissioners,
This is- yeah,
the
this is-
range.
Oh.
This is recent review in the Thurston County Class and Comp Study has resulted in statewide comparables for Superior Court Commissioners to be compensated at 90%. So it is part of the Class and Comp survey.
I see.
Oh, it was.
Okay. So yes, so we can, Maria is coming back.
So I
tom-
suggest we take this up after you meet
I
with
agree,
Maria.
This one, good.
So the next one, it says policy level technical. And so I would also say that this one,
And we've not looked at it, right?
we have not looked at it yet.
Okay.
The reason why this is grouped this way is because if you were to approve the comp and class study, that we would have to do technical lines to, based on the accounting needs that we need to do in the county. So for instance, certain funds are non-budgetary. This is just lines, accounting that we would have to put in the system if the comp and class packages were approved. So I suggest we just move on from this one.
Yeah, after Maria.
So when you say move on, never come back or put it in the do later?
Do later.
Don't throw away anything for now.
No.
So now we're on the new FTE.
We're on new FTEs, policy level new FTEs.
Yes. So the first one is for the assessor's office for commercial appraisal analyst. This is through the general fund, so they're asking for one additional FTE.
Okay, wait a minute, I gotta ask a question here.
Yes,
If we're gonna go through and pick out, we're gonna add this, and this, and this, that's extending the baseline budget above and beyond what it is today, basically. And then what, are we gonna make
maintenance
a,
level budget.
then what, theoretically, or then I'm gonna get away from the 8%, cause it sounds like that's not it anymore. But,
Thank you.
so then we're gonna build them all up, then we're gonna take away 8%? What the hell we
You're gonna create your new
You're-
position and then you're gonna cut and
Yeah.
there goes that position.
We're recommending that you do very few, if any of these,
Well, I'm
Right.
gonna say we don't do any of
So-
them, because how can we do them and then come back and say, make a cut? I still wanna make an across-the-board cut myself. And then if they want this, whomever, whichever position it is, internally, they can say, well, this one is more important than George over here, so we're gonna cut George's position and we're
So
gonna.
we gave them the opportunity to say that before we realized that we were in a cut position, and there were only two offices or departments, both the commissioner's office and public defense, that said this new thing is more important than that thing we had been doing.
Okay, well then,
So all the rest of them did not give any offsets to their new proposals.
no, so I'm just saying we don't grant any of these. I don't even know what's in here. I mean, I guess we looked at it one time, long time ago, no, we never did look at this
Haven't looked at
back.
these yet.
Did any, let me piggyback on Commissioner Edwards, cause I'm really close to where you're at, but I mean, is there anything in this packet that was on your guys' original
Must-do
list? You know, I mean, I can imagine there's something where it's like,
Yeah.
even though it's an FTE,
The
there's some
coroner's
reason we
position.
gotta do it.
Yeah, the coroner's, I
Um,
think, position.
And
is
money's
like the
coming
I
in
think the
because if we
coroner's
don't.
position was on my must-do list, but after we talked to the coroner, and he, after it became clear exactly how much money is at risk of being lost, and it is significantly less than
Than
it
what you
costs
thought.
to add these positions that he says we need to get certified, certification is not as important.
Doesn't seem.
I tend to agree with that.
There's a lot of positions that are not impacted by, like, there's the public works positions are here. And so I think we need to go through it because there's positions,
Through and
yeah.
if we wanna just reject the general fund ones summarily, that's our prerogative,
Yes, indeed.
but it sounds like we gotta go through them.
Yeah,
Yep.
So I'll go
so number one is the,
assessor, it's for a commercial appraisal analyst.
not to say he doesn't need it because I know that their office do, but we just,
They need it, but we don't have
we
the
don't have
money.
money, so I'm putting down for
I
this
mean,
one.
I wrote reclass only. Is there two pieces of this?
yeah, he
There are
asked,
two
he had
pieces
asked
of
something
this
about
one.
the
Yes.
ladder,
Okay.
about a ladder, something, did
Right.
he say something about a ladder by reclassing?
That is correct, Commissioner. He asked that he
And-
could still have the position created through HR, the one that he needed to do for the reclass, even if it didn't come with funding.
I'm
So the establishment of a classification costs nothing. And you can certainly ask HR to do that at any time. That's not necessarily part of a budget.
Okay, well, that's what I had written in my notes.
So yeah, I'll vote no for the funding just because we don't have it, but I'll vote yes for the classification.
So 3 thumbs down.
Is this coastal cheese from Costco?
It could be.
I'm just trying to make you bounce around a little bit. You think about something else that's good for your head.
Yeah, thanks. Not really.
So that was line 1 and 2. So lines 3 and 4 are also for the assessor, and this is for property control analyst. Says for 2 of them.
We don't have it.
So this says that they're requesting 2 full-time FTE, which are imperative to meet the demands requested or presented by the legislative changes to senior citizens, persons with disability, and veteran exemption program.
They're
So-
all very important.
Yes, so I was able to reach out to legal to ask how we could use veteran funding. And the advice that we got from legal was that if there is an FTE that is working on something specific to veterans, that funding couldn't be used
But
to,
if it's not specific, we can't.
right, so they'd have to track their time on
One
what they're
fund
using for
There's
veterans.
another.
and then
How
that
many
could be
times have I
used.
heard you say that?
Many.
They could utilize veteran funding for the time spent on
This
that,
property control analyst, 2 of them?
yes.
So the persons with disabilities, though, can't that be funded with the developmental disabilities funding too? Maybe do a split?
We could look into that, but if it's underneath the same presidents as the veterans, we'd have to see how much time they're actually spending on disabilities and veterans
I
cases.
think that the individual agency can look all that stuff up and figure it out.
We
You get a
would,
4% cut.
need the assessor to be willing to have his staff track their time and report what type of
that might be more
Well,
problem than it's worth.
that's exactly why I'm bringing it up.
Right. But we did look into alternate funding sources for the requests that were general fund, and that was information we received.
So I
wanna
guess
go-
where I would be willing to fund one position
Of
through
what?
of the property control analyst through the DD or veteran exemption
Well,
program.
if it was possible, if you wanted to do it.
Yeah, if he wanted to do it, or I'm not sure if he already has a property control analyst, knowing that he's got cuts coming, maybe he wants to shift a position to do just that. I'm willing to be a little, but then I don't know,
I'm gonna work with the assessor.
so that's kind of, but no through general fund, just again, we just don't.
I'm with her.
Yeah, we just don't have general fund money, so.
So if they have
you can figure out another way.
sufficient time to justify billing to veterans and DD, you would approve one of these positions.
As long as it didn't come out of general
Or-
fund.
If he, or if there's a current position that is currently doing this and he wants to shift some of his cut, maybe there's a position, and he thinks he can shift some of that, I'm willing to also
To
consider
do that
as well.
instead of a
Yes.
new
So
position.
either or, so
Okay.
All right, so
Is that
we're
okay?
gonna contact the assessor and come back to this to see exactly.
Why can't we just say no general
One and two
fund?
go together.
yeah.
Just say no general
Just
fund
no general
expenditure.
fund.
And if he can figure out another way to do it, he knows the ins and outs. I mean, I'm all for him being able to do it, we just don't have any general fund money.
All right, I've made a note, we'll let you know what we find out.
Okay, so 5 and 6 go together. This is for a senior budget analyst. It's out of the general fund.
For our
On-
office.
Which line item?
5 and 6.
5 and 6?
5 and 6,
Okay.
you can't afford it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it just ain't there.
There wasn't any
No, the one says,
proposal from us to
It
kind
is
of
what it
shift
is,
this
right?
position into, what was the proposal for to fund this position?
This position would be funded through the cost plan, the internal services cost plan.
60/40.
It's on a 60-40 split. We briefly talked about the amount of work that our office does in conjunction with public health. I think that we could justify at least half of the position being direct charge to public health, if not closer to 75, and the remainder be on the cost plan.
Of 60/40.
Yep.
So it'd be about 15% or
So,
something to
Maybe
general fund.
about 15% of this could be general fund.
I mean, that is okay to me.
Yeah, that plan, it's because foundation, like, they need the help in public health. I mean, we saw that audit report. So charging half of that position, because I know Jennifer has been spending a lot of time with them and with the finance subcommittee as well. You attended all of those meetings and
So did Nicole,
so
and
did
so did
Nicole.
I.
So the support that is given to them. So I understand the half direct and then. So then how much would be to the general fund?
Okay, let's just say 20%. How about if we say, we would fund one of these, if not more than 20% was against the general fund?
So we'd see around, you said 60-40 split of 50%, about 45,000 to the general fund.
Is that half of it going to Foundation Public Health?
Yeah. And that would be on the cost plan, so it would not be a direct
That's
hit
for,
going forward.
for one position.
One position, not impacted on
Fully
24.
loaded.
One position, 3/4 to public health.
Or other
So that
funds.
leaves 25% left of one position. and divide that 60-40. So that's not, you got the wrong number.
So I did 50% to the, I did
50%
50%
to public health.
to public health.
Well, I thought you said we could do 75% to public health.
Well, I think you could.
We gotta stretch a little bit
Easily
here.
justify half a position, we might be able to do more. I would say roughly $30,000 of this position would be charged to the general fund.
On a rate, so that wouldn't be a direct impact in 24.
It wouldn't even start in 24, it'd start through the, oh, yeah, it would start in 24, cause this one goes through the, yep, that's right.
And you're saying they need that position though to
Well-
get the money right, or what?
No, well, no, I just know that the budget team has been offering public health a lot of support.
So this is bailing out Jennifer?
Yes.
We're
And it's all,
The two
Yes.
of us.
When we're in here getting, follow-up for you guys, then we leave these meetings at 4. We're here.
So is this a better bailout or reduced or getting the ERP positions that you're backfilling?
Yes, both of them.
No, that's not my question. Nice try.
We wear multiple hats as many people here at the county do. So Jennifer is our IT, she's our budget analyst.
Okay, well,
She's public health
okay.
consultant.
you're hitting my weak spot here. So, okay, you said 30, as long as it doesn't do more than 30%. That it?
30,000.
Where's that
One,
weak
if
spot,
not-
Commissioner? That weak spot is? What weak spot?
Well, because I do see these folks sometimes when I'm here leaving at 5, they haven't got anything shut down yet.
That's true.
What time did you leave on Friday night, Ty?
I don't know.
Who was still here Friday night when you left?
I left late, you guys were there later.
I mean, I could handle 30%, I guess, of.
Okay.
So
So if
I
we
don't know,
charge
that's-
half direct to public health and the other half on the cost plan, then it's a go.
what do you say?
I want it to work. I mean, I know we have to do some things. I don't wanna do any of them, to be honest with you. And I still wanna go back to just letting, everybody gets a 3% cut. I don't know what it's gonna be, cause we jockey these numbers
Yeah.
around too
Yeah, we
much.
do.
It gives me a headache, but at some point, I don't wanna do this although in this position, I mean, these are folks that directly with our office, so we have to do it ourselves, but the rest of them, I don't wanna do it for the assessor and the auditor and the clerk and sheriff and stuff. I wanna just, hey, sorry, folks, this is all we got when we finally get to that point.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
But I mean, yeah, my philosophy for most of this though is, and I've talked to Robin about this, is like anything that's kind of little in nature is like, I'm gonna grant it, like, I'll be, that
well, this
some
is,
little thing that can, in relative scale that can actually help, and this is on the borderline of what I consider little as we're talking about it. It didn't look little on the sheet, but as we're talking it through and how we can massage the funding streams, but when it comes to small things that are gonna help offices and departments work better that we can do,
I'm
because
kinda
it's
with you.
basically budget dust,
you gotta give some.
and you wanna be able to do those things.
I don't wanna get, well,
It's
you
just,
gotta give
it's
some.
not worth, but so this one is starting to gravitate into that category, I guess, because we can use Foundation Public Health and use the cost, but I'm with you that I really don't wanna do too many of these.
Me either, okay, but so,
All right.
are we agreeing we're gonna do this one?
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
3 thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
I told Nicole we'd never get this, so.
Okay,
See those late nights, these late nights have paid off.
They pay off.
very good. Okay, so line 7 and 8, public information specialist, so we're asking for 2 FTE. So the amount here is a little under $250,000 to the general fund. I must say though, this request is offset by reducing the contract that we're using for TC Media. That reduction is around $300,000, so this 244, there would still be a net negative impact to the general fund to approve this position for these requests here.
positive impact to the
Positive,
general
thank you.
fund. Yeah,
Okay.
there's not a negative
Not
And
a
again,
negative.
what,
impact,
So
and we
why
have to
is
have
revenue
these.
not tied to, because I think that it is in a way a contract that is going, so there is revenue attached to it because it's a contract we're not continuing
Yes.
specifically for this. How much is the revenue that we're offsetting,
How much
basically?
is the reduction to the contract?
300 and something thousand. I can get the specific number for you.
So there's $100,000 still to the good in the general fund by eliminating the TC Media contract and establishing both these positions, and we need them both. I mean, you see the difficulties we have with our technology. We need
Well,
someone,
we need
one of
some-
these
yeah.
positions is just to run the tech.
who's got the tinfoil wrapped around this, the unit that makes it
Yeah.
not work very well?
So the TC Media contract is $330,000 that we would be reducing. So when the board directed different departments and offices to put in offsetting requests for their policy level requests, this is what we presented. The offset was a TC Media of negative $330,000, with the two positions being 244, which is actually putting more money back into the general fund.
This was on my must-do list.
Yes.
So 330, sorry, I'm taking out my calculator.
So it's about 90,000.
So there's about 90,000 left over after.
Which
To the
number,
good.
tell me where you're at here. Which
See
line item?
this, line number 7, what you don't see is the reduction to the general fund for TC Media that is no longer,
So then there would be a benefit of 85,000.
yes.
Yes.
And at this point, we can't turn back with TC Media. The cities are already out, and in fact, the cities have put in their backfill plans in place.
And so what fund is this gonna come out of?
This will be general fund, and again, we're reducing the general fund expenditures by not having the contract with TC Media, and we're increasing a smaller amount to have the staff
so-
we need to run the program.
So you're balancing it out, but we're putting a little bit of general fund back in.
Yes,
Yeah,
And how much is the
85,000.
little bit?
85,000.
222
Jesus criminy.
is going back into the general, so our previous
Yes.
contract was 330,000. The two positions are
Oh,
244.
so we're gonna actually to the good.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
to
we
the
are,
good.
like, we are,
This is to the
I'm
good.
starting to have a heart attack.
yeah, so we're reducing
good
the
news.
cost with it, so.
Okay, got it.
I'm a thumbs up on one, I'm a maybe on a second, but it sounds like I'm outvoted, so that's fine.
What are,
For me,
I think I gotta do it just to keep, I gotta do it because we're trying to be as open and available
Right.
as we can, and we're not doing a very good job today.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're gonna do better
yeah,
later,
so,
right?
so I'm asking, yes to 2,
Yeah,
yes to 2,
yeah.
and
Just to one.
yes to 1, so I got 2 votes for 2, and I'm gonna go with that.
That's what you gotta do.
Yep, thank you,
That's the law.
thank you.
The other one's a lottery win. Well,
All right,
So the next position, lines 9 and 10 are for Superior Court. There's our access to justice package. It's to add 1 assistant court administrator and 3 judicial assistants and 1 family court facilitator. So the court facilitator, we looked in different funding streams again. We looked into let me pull up my notes here.
I don't
No,
know
not
that
the
it's there.
library, the family court,
there.
and
Let's just say if it's important, they'll have to take it out somewhere else in the budget. I wanna pass that thing along.
so this is thumbs down,
don't have any
it's a
money.
no for me.
You
down,
have a
down,
plan, you
down.
got a plan?
Not for this one.
could have had a different funding source for maybe 1 position.
I'm
was
sorry,
that,
what,
Nicole?
Nicole?
1 funding source, we talked about the family court services fund, am I saying that correctly? Family court services fund. So for the family court facilitator, I reached out to legal again, and they said that if we can prove, if the FTE is working on services that are defined by the fund, then you can charge the position salary and benefits to that.
To which fund though?
It's a family court services fund.
And is there money in it?
So we do some more digging and make sure there's enough funding to support
I
that.
thought that fund was drying up.
Family court services fund, I don't know.
Jennifer's about to pull it up.
I don't
It's
even
already
have heard of
dried
this
up and
at all.
gone now.
If we could, yeah.
Family court services.
Yes.
We're not even scratching the
I
surface.
just can't believe all these
Yeah.
FTEs.
I know,
And two
we
funds,
got
1020 and
tons of
1080.
requests for new FTEs. Just, we were surprised at how many.
So Jennifer, is there any money in that fund?
I have not gotten that answer yet. Hold on one second,
Something like
please.
140 FTEs were requested in this budget. It's just unbelievable.
Search 1020. I'm trying to find this
How
one.
many are requested without general fund assistance though?
About half that many.
Oh, those are going to the health department, right?
A lot of,
We've
yeah,
already been
40
over,
40
we've
to
already
the
been
health.
over
Public
that.
Works.
Well, you haven't hit them yet, but you will.
Yeah, okay, but we kind of went over it with David when he gave his
Yes,
presentation.
David was very specific
showing
about
like
all the
chart
FTEs,
there
and
and
that's
stuff,
what he
yeah.
needs to shore up, just the foundation of
It
foundational
doesn't
health.
appear that there's money in this fund.
Do you see the financial plan?
No, but there's also 1080.
Okay, well, let's come
Follow up, yeah.
back to
Under this
this
1080.
one.
For me, it's an, well,
If there's not any money, it's a no.
Yeah.
I didn't look at cash.
If that's what there's potentially
They're
another
trying to,
fund.
but I mean, can't you just write in there?
So the
it's
fund
not
is
general fund,
forecasting about $40,000 a year in revenue. I will share my screen. Superior Court shared their fund with us, their financial plan. So we couldn't fund a full FTE. We double checked these revenues to make sure that we're clean, but we
What
might be
does
able to do
that?
something.
Look
What
at that
does that
fund
fund?
balance.
Why do they have that fund balance?
They're not spending anything really. on it.
229,
What's
is
that
that what it is?
35,000 for?
They have it booked underneath services. It doesn't look like they're actually spending it.
So they've already got budgeted 35,000 and they still have that?
Yeah, they have a fund balance that they haven't spent.
So they have 35,000 booked that they never ever use.
maybe this is a proposal for one of their, for their cuts, like if, maybe that's a legal opinion, Nicole, that you can share with them, right? And say like, if there's already a position in existence that you have, maybe charging it to this fund will, if they're doing what
Portion of
the
it at
attorney
least, yeah.
said,
Right.
maybe this will.
So instead of a new FTE, that would offset part of their
Part of
reduction.
their reduction, I mean, it seems like
It's
maybe,
one-time money. though.
yeah, but at least half an FTE or something could be
At
charged
least.
from this. So,
Revenue's about 40 all the way across there, or is it getting less?
Yeah, they never spend it, so that's
it's
got
supposed to be
a
spent
healthy
for?
little
They
fund
have
balance.
a $52,000 appropriation every year in professional services, so I don't know if they intend this for contracts that they don't have to issue. But there's not been spent here
There hasn't been anything
ever,
spent
that
for
it's just those
years.
little tiny bits for internal services that are getting billed out of this fund.
so for me, it's a no on the new position, just because it cannot carry a full FTE. But if I'm willing to consider this as one of the offsets that they, if there's a position that they currently have in family court that is already providing some of these services, that they can maybe offset half an FTE, I'm willing to consider that proposal.
Great.
Okay,
What is, just before we leave this, what is this supposed to be used for?
So, the courthouse facility program, it says that, it says that, it just says for provide basic services for family law cases. So we receive a fee or a surcharge.
What's the fund number?
A
1080.
1080, so I'm just gonna read what it has here. A court may create a courthouse facility or program to provide basic services for family law cases. The legislative authority of any county may impose user fees or impose a surcharge for up to $20 on those Superior Court cases that are filed. And so this revenue is collected into this fund. And so anyone who is working on providing basic services for family law cases may be eligible to spend that fund for their FTE. See if there's additional information here.
It's kind of broad.
Yeah, it is very broad. We can get even more information. This is what we were able to turn around in the timeframe, but we can get more information specific to what those services are. And then reach out to Superior Court to see if there is some portion of the FTE that can be charged to it.
I don't, that's one-time money. I think I like what Carolina said, as far as credit it to something else,
I thought that's what she just said. Yeah, a portion of a current FTE
yeah.
to be charged here if they're working on those services.
If they're working under the threat of a cut or whatever.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
George said that it has been used for guardian ad litem costs in the past.
Very in what?
Guardian ad litem costs in the
Okay.
past.
But why not now?
I'm asking that question too.
But not for quite a while, not for several years.
Can we take a break?
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead, it's 3:35, let's go ahead and take a break, we've gotten to page 3 out of 32.
On this packet, I've gotten through other packets. Don't sell it short.
Okay, we are back from break. It is 3:53, and so we left off on page 3 with item number 10. No, never mind. 10 is connected to page 2.
Yeah, we're at 11.
So, okay, number 11.
This is to add an FTE, business application technician to the Superior Court. This is general fund funded.
No, okay, it's pretty much you got, that's it.
I see all 3 thumbs down, okay.
The next, line 13 is for probation counselor 2. This is to add an FTE to district court.
Same thing.
It's general fund.
3 thumbs down.
Okay, so we're at line 15, because 13 and 14 go together. And this is to add a probationary clerk. This is FTE as well to district court.
Same thing.
Okay, that's 15 and 16.
You know, it sounds politer if we say this one depends on the lottery.
So this next one, line 17, is for the prosecuting attorney's office. It's general fund to add a chief criminal deputy prosecuting attorney.
Same thing.
No, okay.
Okay,
Can we wait 1 second?
We're waiting on line 17.
I'm trying to find my,
There was 3 no's on the must do
what page
list.
is it on?
Second to last.
It's like to be in alphabetical order or something. Okay,
Why don't we just say
what is in that, chief deputy?
no to everything except the deal?
Okay, so
We
good on
already
that.
said yes to.
okay. So line 18. It says that it's general fund, it's to add a community program manager to the prosecuting attorney. It looks like it has revenue associated with it. It says it was funded by the Washington Traffic Safety Commission.
But how much revenue does it match?
It says
No, it
half.
doesn't match. It's about half.
What's it for again?
This is the
Community
target
program
zero.
Yeah.
I,
It says this position would manage grant funding for the purpose of conducting high visibility, data-driven emphasis patrols throughout.
Is this a new FTE? Don't they already have a target zero FTE?
I'd have to follow up on that.
I put yes on this, I'm trying to remember the.
Yeah, cause I thought it was completely grant funded is,
yeah, I
I
did
thought it
too,
was too.
so I don't understand that.
this addition of a community program manager position for the Target Zero program, which is funded by the Washington Traffic Safety Commission. So I guess I'll say yes if it's 100% grant funded.
Yeah, I'm okay, sure, if it's 100% grant,
I'm reading through the stuff that you can't see really
but
quick.
it doesn't say that. It's less than half, isn't it?
Yeah, so.
I'm trying to find my notes from the.
About 40%.
presentation.
Does this grant require match?
So many presentations, I can't.
These are all questions, I could follow up on that.
So we have,
He was on Friday, October 13th, if that helps.
Okay,
can we do a little more research and get back to you on this one?
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it says funded by Washington State Traffic Safety Commission.
Total, wasn't it?
So,
We can follow up to see
We'll
what
have
the
to
grant
follow
funding
up.
is. Yes.
We'll get back, I'll mark this one to
Target,
something we
okay,
need
hold
to
on.
return
Target
to.
Zero project manager, half-time state reimbursed to full, they wanna go from half-time to full, the state's supposed to reimburse. Is that why we're seeing what we're seeing, is that it's?
I don't know, we'll need to look into this one a little more
I
and
think there was some
come back
wrinkle
to
there.
it. Yeah,
I had that as a yes, because I think he was,
so maybe what they didn't do is they just did the whole expenditure without counting the other half, and the revenue is the only new thing on it. I don't know,
We'll
so.
figure it out. We'll
I don't know,
follow up
we
with
gotta
that.
figure it out.
Yes. That marked. So the next one is through the Victim Advocate Fund for the prosecuting attorney. It's for a coordinator. Just speaking right now with Jennifer, she was saying this is the amount for the reclass into this position. So that's the difference, and it's gonna go into the Victim Advocate.
So this is a reclass, not
I
a,
double check that, I may have lied.
it says here
Misspoken.
that they're adding a program coordinator, but they're eliminating a vacant senior victim advocate, so
That's what the
Essentially,
difference, so
it's a
this is the net,
trade-off.
yeah.
it's a trade-off, so I don't know where that falls in
And
the
they
lines,
didn't
but-
wanna do a straight reclassification because they wanted to do the interview opportunities for their staff. And then, would abolish the position if the internal candidate were promoted. They wanted to make it a ladder with their staff.
There's this one.
that is number
So I'm
19.
okay on this one.
And
let's,
they wanna do the same thing with 20.
This is like one of these small ones that'll help them
Yes,
and we can
so
do
I
it.
got 2 thumbs on 19, Commissioner, it's
19.
$7,000 roughly.
But it's for the Victim Advocate Program, it's not through general
Right,
fund.
it's not
And it's
general
out of
fund.
their fund,
Yeah.
Yes. So
18 and 19.
18,
Just 19.
19, we're just
Just
looking
Just
at
on
19,
Just 19.
only
Yeah.
19.
Okay, that's
So,
the
thumbs up.
6,000.
Yep, thumbs up to
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so line 20 is a general fund impact, and this is for under $10,000. It's to add a paralegal 2 position to the criminal division.
Plus eliminate something else, it
Right.
says.
Yes,
And what's the offset to this one?
I'm looking.
They would,
into it.
add, again, this would be the same thing where they add 3 higher positions, eliminate 3 lower positions, and the difference in the salary between the classifications is $10,000 total.
All right, yes,
Is how many total?
3,
$9,700.
about $10,000. general fund.
This one
And
is,
that falls in your category.
Yeah, I mean,
Minutia.
it's so little that I
Okay.
wanna help them do what I can.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, 303.
So the next is for funding for a digital discovery repository. It's for $253,000 out of the general fund for the prosecuting attorney.
Is this Axon?
This is let me look before I speak.
Is this the two positions if they don't get Axon?
yeah, I think,
That's what I believe this to be.
I strongly urge that we find a way to fund Axon.
yeah, I mean, if, hopefully, if the public safety tax
How
passes.
much is Axon?
How much is the Axon software? I'd have to look.
I have to double check, I can't remember.
According to
Between
this,
these positions and the positions in public,
It's 353,000 for year 24 and 176,520 for year 25, so I'm guessing that's 176 is the continued maintenance of the software program.
Is there money in technology?
not if we don't bill it out.
So
Way too many things.
so I'm gonna say no through this with the, we need to fund the Axon program, and hopefully if the public safety tax passes, we've heard from the prosecutor that if there's not anywhere else that the program can be funded from, then he would
We
support
could
it.
afford that in the first year.
I'm on a maybe on this because I have a very strong sense that we're gonna end up paying for this one way or the other, whether it's FTEs or lawsuits or, I mean, there's no way we're gonna get around this, but I don't know how to fund it yet, but for me, I wanna just keep it at bay so we see what else we're doing.
So we can return to this
So
one.
maybe, yeah.
Yep.
We'll return to this one. Okay, move to 22.
Yes, it's to add a prosecutor investigators. This is the request through the prosecuting attorney to add 2 investigators. We did speak about this when we were having the ARPA conversation, but this is the separate request. And it's general fund,
These are the investigators.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know how we can do it. The sheriff can do it for him.
No. Is this what you were
I think
earlier
this is what
speaking to?
I'm referring to, that the sheriff can, if the thing passes, the sheriff can do it for him. And if it doesn't pass, we can't afford it.
All right, so thumbs down.
Yeah, unless the thing passes.
All right.
yeah.
3 down.
Next one is to add a deputy prosecuting attorney. I'm trying to see if this is also a reclass, but it looks like there's 3 positions, 3 deputy prosecutor positions that they're requesting.
Is this on 22?
So wait, hold on a second.
But it says following COVID.
They had actually indicated on the meeting
Says
last
withdrawn.
week that they would withdraw this package,
Okay.
Well, this was pre,
The whole thing,
the whole thing.
all of these.
Mhm.
Okay, good, that makes.
Next line 24 is to add a legal.
We don't even need to go over them if they're
Nope.
withdrawing them.
Yep.
So 24 is to add a legal assistant 2 to the civil team for the prosecuting attorney and the amount of $90,000
Withdraw.
general fund. To vote.
So if this is part of the legal decision and works with Elizabeth, it is part of the 60-40 split on internal.
But even so, we
plan.
don't have the money.
Yeah. Just saying. So no.
Yeah, no, he's withdrawn, right?
No,
No,
not
he
for
withdrew.
24,
Not
Oh,
line
different.
24.
Oh, okay, okay.
not for the legal
Okay, but
assistant for the
still
civil
no.
team.
Oh,
It says ITA hearings on it. Is that not covered by,
Which one are you looking at?
going back to the legal assistant
Is
one?
that not covered by the BHASO? So the thing with the BHASO now, we're not on an actual cost reimbursement, we're
We're
on
just a
this
set amount.
rate thing. Right, it is a set amount and the rates for 22 because the rates are fixed on a 3-year rolling average, the rates that we set for 22 and 23 are gonna be exactly the same. We were far enough into 22 when we set the rates for this year. They won't change next year, and the rates won't go up until 24. And you know, expenses could go up in 23, but if they were low in 22, we're not gonna recover actual costs anymore, is my
Well, that, I mean,
bumbling.
it says ITA hearings among a lot of other things. It's not like this person's dedicated to ITA.
It looked like it was primarily gonna be public records requests.
Well, that's,
I was hoping.
who said they've got oh, it's Mary, general fund.
What?
Oh, so what I was starting to think through is there an opportunity to charge at least half this FTE to an office that has extraordinarily high record requests? And where we heard, I was just trying to remember who talked about
How many
the,
they were getting,
and it was Mary
about
Hall
elections,
in the
yeah.
auditor's office tied to elections, which is general fund.
General fund anyway.
Yeah, it's general fund. So that wouldn't work. All right, moving on.
Line 25 is for the sheriff's law enforcement. They would like to add a financial operations assistant to address workload and audit findings. It's $100,000. Is this the position that they said would be their priority?
This is their number one.
Their number one priority, that if the public safety sales tax was funded, this possibly would be something they would like to move from the general fund into public safety sales tax, because this is their priority one.
So then,
I also would say that when we talked about the commissioner's priorities in the summer, one of the things that we talked about was the need to strengthen financial management in many of our offices and departments. And we definitely see that need in the sheriff's office.
But, okay, so on my list, it says it's priority 8. Or are you saying it's top priority?
He changed his mind.
Oh, I thought this was
He
his
had
number
told
one.
us that this was his number one priority.
Yeah, I
It's
thought
on the
this,
sheet as number 8, so.
this and his
cheat sheet.
evidence tech, I believe those were the two requests that he had as the top priorities.
And how do we afford to fund this?
I don't know how that got to number 8 on your sheet.
It's 8 in the system, that's what it's based off of, but during conversations, they said that this was, and he just said it this morning, that this is what he would
Every
wanna shift over.
conversation we've had with him says this
I
is
still
his
don't know
number
how to
one.
fund it, so.
through the public,
Safety
if
sales.
he's in agreement with the public, if the public safety tax passes, it's a yes through the public safety tax for me.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Okay. But if it don't pass, we're out of luck.
Okay, so then that's lines 25 and 26. For 27 is the evidence technician position, that's also general fund requested. But this is also a top priority from what I understand from the sheriff's office. That they've suggested possibly.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Okay. So that's now brings us to number 30 here, line 30. The sheriff's office is asking for 2 deputy cadet positions out of the general fund for a total of $253,000. This is where they're saying they'd like to set up a program to bring in cadets and then.
Well,
be able to
same
move them
thing,
up.
I think, if the fund, if it passes,
We would fund it out of the public
Right.
safety
yeah.
tax.
Commissioner Mejia made a good case for that this morning. It doesn't like that was their original idea, but sheriff seemed to agree. That could get him rolling quicker.
Right.
But anyway, I mean, I mean, these are big general fund asks and, you know, I feel like we usually, try to meet. The sheriff's in the unfortunate position of being all general fund basically,
Yes.
So the whole kind of basis of our measure on the ballot, but I guess I would just say that if we get to a point, we're not quite there yet, but if we get to a point where we're asking for a X% or X dollar cut, the sheriff's office is gonna be exempted from a large portion of that based on their operation.
Yeah.
So I think,
Can't give and take away.
yeah, I
Right
mean,
afterwards.
the sheriff's office will be, like, you know, if when we get to that point, the sheriff's office will be benefited in the long run. So to say no to all these other departments and then stretch here I don't think that makes sense to me, so.
I agree.
So where do we go now?
Line 33.
I thought we just said no.
You said no to, you said pending PST, right?
It sounded
Public
like we
safety
said
sales
no to
tax.
all of
I
it.
hadn't gotten to 33, but yeah, it might be the same.
33 is the
31,
animal
32 or
services.
And when we're
And
having
they're gonna come in tomorrow.
mine is, I feel like this in a way is if we decide to go fully fund JASCOM, then I just really wanna have that conversation with them because I've been hearing a lot of complaints from the community in regards to, again, that coverage and the
Whatever.
in the county, I believe, you know, from what I've spoken with the sheriff, he's starting to collect data and those calls are just piling in. And so he's asked his officers right now to basically to start marking those down, and so they have, and he's been, I think, very surprised with the numbers that have come in. And so Sarah Hawk is coming tomorrow.
Yes,
She
that's
is.
We
10:30.
really need to have that conversation with her, right? Because we decided to do this in an effort to address that gap, and if it's not, we're not really seeing that, and we have this huge request.
What about the money that was supposedly being returned to the county?
She's gonna speak to that as well.
Did
What
we-
is, do we know? I mean,
It's roughly 100,000.
But did we get it back or is it a
They didn't
contemplation?
bill them. They so we
didn't have
reduced
to pay
their
that.
billing, so we never had to pay.
So where did that money end up going?
Sitting in the general fund. It's part of the reversion out of non-departmental.
could the board, just thinking out loud, I haven't heard from Sarah, I don't know where I'm gonna land, but could the board just go back to where we were before?
Absolutely could.
And the sheriff's office, part of trying to do what we did was to alleviate burden on the sheriff's office, and that would not be solved, but we were there for years and years.
Right.
I don't know how many years, but some mere number of years, we were right there,
10 years at least.
where we had certain services that just weren't provided. Unless folks came to the board for a dangerous dog declaration, the sheriff would do what the sheriff felt was, you know, within his staffing ability to do.
Right.
And that's how things were until
Yes.
2021 or
I
something.
mean, but we weren't even getting what we paid for at that point in time, let alone giving them the enhanced amount of money.
Yeah, so I urge you to have a conversation with Sarah. She's bringing information in. She's, I believe, prepared to respond to your questions, and then we'll
Yeah.
come back and we can,
So,
chat about
two
this.
things. One is I'd like to know what, like, to the best of our knowledge, what's that dollar amount that we would save by going back to the old level of service? Secondly, it's probably something like $400,000 or $500,000, I'm guessing, because it was 636 versus 1.1, so it was 500 2 or 3 years ago difference. So whatever that is now,
with inflation,
yeah, it could be
yeah.
more. But let's say $500,000 potentially at play. And then the fact that the reason we're getting money back is because they couldn't staff up to actually do. So opportunity, right? Like, we're not gonna cause any disruption in their staffing. They didn't have the staffing to
Do it
provide the
anyway.
service, so we're not costing anyone their job if we go back to where we were. They couldn't staff the additional service anyway.
I think that's a great conversation to have with Sarah about.
I think we may have no other choice, but we'll see what.
Right.
Okay, so then we'll wait on these two because I think it's dependent on what we decide to do with animal services and
So if I may, it's 4:15.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we are leaving off with page 9. Great job, commissioners. We've gotten through several packets
have.
today. And
Got a long way to go, but
still got a long way to go. And so we are picking up tomorrow with,
Personnel with Maria and Tara will come and speak to us about personnel requests within the budget. So reclasses in particular in the comping class.
So we can put this back in the, haven't
Perfect.
got there yet stack.
so 4:16, we are adjourned. Thank you.